Hello and welcome to the Kopala TV main news. And in stories making headlines today, the Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia, PSZ, held the arrest of Dr. Chilufya. Zambian DNA welcomes President Lungu's directive to address the youth's plight. And in international news, the Democratic Republic of Congo police used tear gas on protesters outside parliament. Join us in a bit after this. To present the Kopala TV main news, my name is Monza Mwenga. The Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia, PSZ, has welcomed the arrest of Minister of Health Dr. Chilufya by the Anti-Corruption Commission, which shows that indeed President Edgar Lungu means business in fighting corruption. PSZ President Jerome Kanyika told Kopala TV News that the arrest comes at the right time when President challenged the ACC, and it also vindicates the whistleblowers who have been exposing the unprofessional conduct of the Minister of Health, which has dented the name of the President. Mr. Kanyika said the society is further asking the President to relieve the Minister from his duties to allow smooth investigations without intimidations.
Thank you. We welcome the arrest of the Minister of Health, Dr. Chilufya, by the Anti-Corruption Commission. This has come at the right time when the Republican President challenged the Anti-Corruption Commission in terms of them investigating high-profile people. And not only that, we are also asking the Anti-Corruption Commission to go further and investigate also the procurement of drugs at the Ministry of Health, and also the recent recruitment of health workers where pharmacists and pharmacy technologists were left out in the recruitment. Well, the president said that 3,400 health workers will be employed by his administration. This has dented the name of the president and the party. We also ask further the Republican President, Dr. Edgar Lungu, the father of the nation, to relieve the Minister of Health from his duties so that the investigating officers should not feel intimidated by him continuously being a minister while they are investigating him. Thank you.
The Zambia DNA has welcomed President Edgar Lungu's directive to the relevant ministries to address the youth's plight in an effort to improve their welfare. Zambia DNA spokesperson Spooky Mulemwa told Kopala TV News that they expect youths to utilize established channels to express grievance and desist from resorting to demonstrations and protests whenever they are aggrieved.
The Zambian DNA welcomes President Edgar Lungu's directive to the relevant ministries to address the youth's plight in an effort to improve their welfare. Indeed, the President's directive demonstrates government's commitment to improve the youth's welfare and address their plight. We expect the youth to utilize established channels to express their grievances and desist from resorting to protests or demonstrations whenever they are aggrieved. We advise the youth to dialogue with government over critical issues of concern to them, as President Edgar Lungu has got an open door policy. However, the youth should not allow disgruntled politicians to use them for selfish reasons that are anchored on agitating for regime change.
Mwembeshi Ward 27 of Matero Constituency Councillor Kelvin Kaunda yesterday did community food relief and inspection around primary and secondary schools to check compliance levels in the ward. Diana Kafwala gives details in the following report.
There is no telling when the COVID-19 is ending. No wonder some leaders have made it a mandate to help and sensitize others on the pandemic. Councillor Kelvin Kaunda was yesterday in Mwembeshi Ward 27 of Matero Constituency, where he first gave to elderly each a bag of mini meal and a bottle of cooking oil in trying to cushion the effects of COVID-19. The councillor further explained the purpose of the donation.
The purpose of what we've been doing is merely to try and help people who are faced with a number of challenges. I think we are all alive to the fact that most of the women survive on very small businesses. Some of them sell tomatoes, others vegetables, and like any other business, all the businesses have been affected during this period of coronavirus. So all we're trying to do is to try and alleviate their challenge, to try and lighten up their challenges, so that even as they go through this difficult period of coronavirus, at least they will have something to eat. So that is all essence.
Beneficiaries had this to say. And later, the councillor went to Mwembeshi Primary School, where he inspected and pledged to build a 1x4 classroom block, which is currently at foundation level. At the same venue, the councillor inspected some classrooms and left behind 250 handmade face masks for the pupils. Muchinga Primary School deputy head teacher thanks the area councillor.
I want to thank our councillor for this wonderful gesture. He has been our parent for this community of Mwembeshi. So far he has assured us, and he has started it, the construction of the 1x4 classroom block that is on course. So far, as you can see, there is already the foundation dug in preparation of the construction to start next week. We are so wonderful that he has come on our board to donate in the midst of COVID-19. You can see the face mask that has brought to our learners. It's a great honor.
These are the works that the people need to be seen amidst all the tensions going on in the country. Diana Kopala, Kopala TV News, Lusaka.
The Democratic Party, DP, has welcomed the arrest of Minister of Health Dr. Chitalu Chilufya by the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, stating it is time leaders are made accountable for the alleged crimes committed against the people of Zambia. DP spokesperson Judith Kabemba says the party is requesting President Edgar Lungu to relieve Dr. Chitalu Chilufya of his duties until he is cleared by the courts.
The DP has welcomed the arrest of Minister of Health, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, by the ACC. We strongly believe that it is time that our leaders are made accountable for the alleged crimes committed against the people of Zambia. In this regard, the DP is requesting President Edgar Lungu to relieve Dr. Chitalu Chilufya of his duties. We are alive to the fact that the head of state set a precedence when he relieved former ZAF commander Mr. Chimese of his duties even before he was arrested by the SEC. And so in this matter, where Chitalu Chilufya has even been committed before the courts, it is just prudent that he should be relieved of his duties until the matter is heard and determined in court. This action, we believe that the head of state will actually be helping the investigative wings to do their job correctly without fear or favor.
In case you have just tuned in, you are watching the Kopala TV main news. Join us after this.
Kopala TV, Kopala ya buena mumwesu Kopala. Kopala TV.
My number ishusho limentindeyaza yama oji orushani Kopala TV
yama oji imuntu wandi yesu fwebene by fwebene fwebene aidede kalasti yako Kopala futi yaba Kopala
manje kuikatashani yoina naye naye kuntambo olwo ni jiviji.
Wala iwe, ile sango pa Topstar Decoder Channel 98 paku. Ninshi yatubira, puta mensa ninshi yalila ni evidimbwe. Kule izimoli la pemunjazi.
Soyulira ndati Kopala TV tayabanga yama boiling channel wako batu wachila tamba fe bwino kwangwa filamba fyambo kupona uluwa mfotoro pantu ifuma channel wefingi fyamo pura fi.
Alola iwe, Kopala TV ni Kopala futhi eile kuchalo. Lo shali mokuba molasti. Elo ile sansa Kopala yonse my number. Ukwambila pepa my number pandula lwansha kito paketi ke mufudila mufuken chingola pa chingo begi na chidila bombo iwe. Ni Kopala TV eiliko.
Muntu wanja pakushongora fika Topstar we tatande tambera pofi Kopala TV pachani 98 pakude konkana ne charo bumper to bamba ni pate after pate wo pate after pate wo
Kopala TV OG yeah.
Kopala TV available on Topstar Channel 98. Kopala TV, entertainment just for you.
Looking for an opportunity to grow your business? Well, Kopala TV has good news for all small-scale businesses. You can now advertise on Kopala TV's Makwebo. Bonseba na mayo na bashtata. Iseni mulangishe amakwebo yenu pamutengo uachepa nga 100 kwacha. Yes, you heard right. For as low as 100 kwacha, your business will get its peak. Whatever the business, we will advertise. All you need to do is send a text of what your business offers, indicating the name, location, and contact details to the number below. Payment for the advertising spot can be made through MTN mobile money on the number down below. Makwebo, make your business known.
One Zambia, one nation.
Zambia chalo chesu. Stop political violence.
I am Zambian. I am against political violence.
I am Zambian, and I say disarm all cadres now.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
It's not good killing one another as Zambians. Stop the violence.
Let's keep the peace in our streets. Let's work to stay one Zambia.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
Ndimwina Zambia. Lekeni ukulwa pamulandu wa politics. Welcome back. Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has welcomed the decision by the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, to arrest Minister of Health Dr. Chitalu Chilufya. TIZ Chapter President Ruben Lefuka says TIZ henceforth recognizes that Honorable Chilufya now has an opportunity to mount his defense before the courts of law and seek to clear his name. TIZ will continue to prod the ACC, discharging its duties without fear or favor, and to focus only on serving national interest and nothing else.
Transparency International welcomes the decision by the Anti-Corruption Commission to arrest Honorable Chitalu Chilufya, and it is our fervent hope that the necessary groundwork has been done and there is a good basis to pursue this course of action. We do recognize henceforth that Honorable Chilufya now has an opportunity to mount his defense before the courts of law and to seek to clear his name. In order to ensure that the prosecution and conduct of this matter is above board, we again call on President Lungu to consider relieving the Minister of Health of his duties and allow him first and foremost to focus on his defense, and secondly to insulate his own government from unfortunate distractions which this case may present.
New Congress Party, NCP, says no wind of change would warrant a change in regime in the forthcoming general elections. NCP leader Peter Chanda says President Edgar Lungu has exemplarily demonstrated leadership in the country. The NCP leader has, however, urged Zambians to be alert and know that not everything posted on social media is the gospel truth. Meanwhile, according to Mr. Chanda, the youth demonstration was a flop and should therefore be a lesson to all youths.
The Zambian people should be alerted of the fact that it's not everything that we see or hear on social media that is the gospel truth. We have seen the flopping of the protest that was supposed to be done, the intended protest that was supposed to be done. When people have risen and they want change, I want to tell the Zambian people that that is demonstrated whether they have a permit or they do not have. However, I want to thank the Zambian youths that remained steadfast, remained in their homes and did not succumb to the message of ungrateful youths, those that do not want to see this country at peace. My call to the youths of this country is that the same vigor that our forefathers, the freedom fighters, fought to gain independence is the same one that we should use to fight for economic emancipation. And economic emancipation will not be handed down to us by protests or hearsay or political rhetorics, but it will be handed down to us if all of us come together and begin to work and be productive. Innovation is the key at the moment for economic prosperity. No political leader should lie to you that when they form government, they are going to create jobs for all the 16 million people or the 6 million youths in the country. That is a lie. Employments are not created mainly by government. They are created by the private sector. And it is you and me to create industries. The COVID-19 situation should teach us on how we can industrialize our country and stop importing toothpicks, stop importing and any other small thing that we can be able to produce within the country. I thank you.
The Zambia National Council for the Catholic Laity, ZNCCL, says it's in support of the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops' position on various national issues. In a statement made available to Kopala TV News, ZNCCL says in order to remain relevant in church and society, the laity shall continue sharing Christ's kingly office through their secular activities as they promote justice, love, and peace. And it is by doing their daily work well and remaining vigilant that would help promote the Creator's plan and bring the light of Christ to the world. In case you have just tuned in, you are watching Kopala TV's main news. Join us after this set of commercials.
Kopala TV, Kopala ya buena mumwesu Kopala. Kopala TV.
My number ishusho limentindeyaza yama OG olushani Kopala TV
yama OG imuntu wandi Yesu fwebene by fwebene fwebene naidede kalasti yako Kopala futi yaba Kopala
manje kuikatashani yoyina naena ya kuntambo oroni jiviji
wala iwe ile sango top star decoder channel 98 paku ninshi yatubila puta mensa ninshi yalila ni evidimbwe kule izimuli la femunjazi
so yodelandati Kopala TV tayabanga ya boiling channel wako batu wachila tamba fe bwino kwangwa filamba fyambo kupona uruwa mfotoro bantu ifuma chane wefingi fyamo pura fi
alula iwe Kopala TV ni Kopala futhi kuchalo lo ushali mokuba molasti elo ile sansa Kopala yonse my number ukwambila fipa maina mapandula lwansa kito paketi ke mufudila mufuken chingola pa chingo begi na chidila bombwewe ni Kopala TV liko
muntu wanja pakushongora kufika top star wetata ndetambira pofi Kopala TV pachani o 98 pakude konkana ne charo bamba to bamba ni pate after pate wo pate after pate wo
ha ha Kopala TV OG Kopala TV available on Topstar channel 98. Kopala TV, entertainment just for you.
Looking for an opportunity to grow your business? Well, Kopala TV has good news for all small-scale businesses. You can now advertise on Kopala TV's Makwebo. Bonseba na mayo na bashtata. Iseni mulangishe amakwebo yenu pamutengo uachepa nga 100 kwacha. Yes, you heard right. For as low as 100 kwacha, your business will get its peak. Whatever the business, we will advertise. All you need to do is send a text of what your business offers, indicating the name, location, and contact details to the number below. Payment for the advertising spot can be made through MTN mobile money on the number down below. Makwebo, make your business known.
One Zambia, one nation.
Zambia chalo chesu. Stop political violence.
I am Zambian. I am against political violence.
I am Zambian, and I say disarm all cadres now.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
It's not good killing one another as Zambians. Stop the violence.
Let's keep the peace in our streets. Let's work to stay one Zambia.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
Ndimwina Zambia, lekeni ukulwa pamulandu wa politics. Welcome back, and now in international news. Police in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, have fired tear gas for a second straight day to break up violent protests outside parliament over proposed changes in the judiciary. The party of former President Joseph Kabila is pushing legislation that could reshape the courts and who they answer to. We monitored Al Jazeera for more on this report.
Police fired tear gas to clear hundreds trying to force their way into the parliament building in the capital, Kinshasa. They are supporters of President Felix Tshisekedi, infuriated by what they see as a judicial power grab in parliament. His party, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress, says the proposals would muzzle the judiciary and undermine the independence of judges. A ploy, they say, to protect the party of former President Joseph Kabila. As hundreds surround Parliament, others set fire to properties owned by Kabila and his associates.
This law reform is very dangerous to our justice system. We are here to express our opposition. We didn't vote for MPs so they would support such reforms in Parliament.
If passed, judges would be under the jurisdiction of the Justice Minister, a position held by the opposition party of former President Joseph Kabila, the Common Front for Congo, or FCC. It also holds a majority in parliament and government.
Parliament is blocking the development of this country. We say no to this law. It would create trouble in our justice system. The former ruling coalition must be aware that we are the voters and we have power.
Kabila supporters say their proposals are meant to fight corruption by defining the oversight powers of the Justice Ministry. FCC Chief Noemi Wilanya issued a warning to protesters.
Careful. Protesters must realize that everyone knows how it starts.
but not how it ends.
Congolese politicians have been seen by many as untouchable, a perception that appears to be changing. On Saturday, the president's own chief of staff, Vital Kamerhe, was sentenced to 20 years of hard labor for stealing public money. He is the highest official ever convicted of corruption in the DRC. The conviction has earned praise for the president and the courts, but there's clearly disagreement about how independent the courts should be. Katia Lopez-Odoyan, Al Jazeera.
A U.S. appeals court has ordered the dismissal of a criminal case against Trump's former security advisor. Michael Flynn pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI during the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential elections. Trump has repeatedly criticized Flynn's prosecution. Al Jazeera once again.
When Michael Flynn had the highly important job of National Security Advisor, the FBI came to the White House, and he lied to them about contacts with the Russian ambassador. That's a crime. He pled guilty to it twice, but he later tried to take it back. And then, under Attorney General William Barr, the Justice Department tried to throw out the case. The judge in charge was debating it, but now an appellate court has intervened, ruling the Flynn case has to be dismissed, the decision written by a Trump-appointed judge. There could be further appeals in the case, but the president is claiming victory.
I'm very happy about General Flynn. He was treated horribly. He was treated very, very horribly by a group of very bad people.
This all happened on the same day that Congress is investigating how the Justice Department is handling cases involving the president's friends, like Roger Stone, convicted of lying to Congress, obstructing justice, and witness intimidation. The Justice Department overruled its own lawyers to ask for a lesser prison sentence.
I was repeatedly told the department's actions were not based on the law or the facts, but rather on political considerations, Mr. Stone's political relationships, and that the acting U.S. attorney was afraid of the president.
Other witnesses issued a dire warning.
And I am here because I believe that William Barr poses the greatest threat in my lifetime to our rule of law and to public trust in it. That is because he does not believe in its core principle that no person is above the law.
But Barr has his defenders.
So as to achieve justice is what motivates him and motivates his decisions, and that's all that motivates his decisions. I think we're fortunate to have a person of his temperament, talents, and convictions in office during this difficult time in history.
At least one congressman says Barr has to go.
We should pursue impeachment of Bill Barr because he is raining terror on the rule of law.
That seems unlikely because in this era, questions about politics influencing a usually non-political department fall along party lines. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera.
Finally, in international news, a tally of figures collected by Johns Hopkins University shows that the total number of virus-related deaths in Latin America and Caribbean is now more than 100,000. More than half of these deaths have been reported in Brazil, where numbers continues to be among the highest in the world behind the US. Latin America now consistently reports more daily cases than the US and Europe, and experts say the peak of the epidemic in some countries is still weeks away.
We've seen in the last, few months since the crisis started here in Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro consistently flouting global guidelines, social distancing, taking selfies with supporters in demonstrations in Brasilia, in the capital. So he's made very clear his attitude towards a lot of these measures. In fact, we've seen two health ministers go because they didn't agree with his strategy when it comes to handling the pandemic. But we've seen now this federal judge saying that he needs to wear a mask or face a $400 fine. So I guess we'll need to see exactly how he intends to follow those guidelines, certainly. So overnight, there were nearly 40,000 new cases. We're talking 1,145,000 cases in all, and there were another 1,374 deaths, and that means that there's more than 52,000 deaths in total in the country. Those figures, continue to rise. Yesterday we saw in Sao Paulo a record number of deaths, and Sao Paulo is the biggest state, the most populous state. So these numbers, are not easing, and that's the concern, of course, is that we don't know exactly where Brazil is on the curve.
And that story brings us to the end of the Kopala TV main news. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia, PSZ, held the arrest of Dr. Chitalu Chilufya. Zambia DNA welcomes President Lungu's directive to address the youth's plight. And in international news, the Democratic Republic of Congo police used tear gas on protesters outside Parliament. Thank you for joining us and pleasant viewing.